You're listening to the Teach Better Talk podcast featuring expert educators eager to share progressive tactics to reach more students. Teach Better Talk is created by teachers and fueled by passion. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 12 of Teach Better Talk. I'm Ray Hewart, and as always, I'm with Jeff Gargis. We have so much in store for this episode with an incredible educator, but before we get to that, Jeff, how are you doing?
Ray, I am doing absolutely fantastic. We are on episode 12. I can hardly believe that we're 12 episodes in already. Super excited about it. We've been getting a great response from the podcast so far. So really excited to keep going here with episode number 12. We've got Marlena Gross-Taylor with us, who is a phenomenal educational consultant. She's actually the founder of EduGladiators, which is a group of what she calls warriors or gladiators that get out and they do a lot. They have a Twitter chat. They've got they do a lot of content creation and stuff for teachers, and they do a lot of professional development all around the country. And their goal is really to inspire teachers, to motivate them, do whatever they can to help them, which you and I both know we love that. We can totally get behind that. That's amazing. Really excited to hear more about that. She's also been recognized as a middle school master teacher and an innovative administrator in the elementary, middle, and high school levels. She's had pretty cool experience. Her educational experience has taken her across several states and allowed her to serve K through 12 students in both rural and urban districts. So she's got a very wide range in experience. So I'm excited to dive into that. Marlena, thank you so much for just taking some time today. I know you've been traveling a lot, so this has been a busy time. We really appreciate you taking the time to connect with us and chat with us. So first and foremost, how are you feeling right now?
Oh, thank you, Jeff and Ray. I'm super excited to speak with you and to share a little bit of my story and to hopefully inspire whoever might be listening to just to be that EduGladiator for kids. So it's been a crazy amount of travel, but that's what keeps it fun because what I've learned is that no matter where I've been, no matter where I am still yet to go, that at the heart of it all, teachers are teachers, kids are kids, and we have to make sure that we are being our very best for our kids.
Yeah, I was so excited that you were coming on this podcast because I had obviously connected with you through Twitter for a long time, and following all the EduGladiator stuff is just, I love it. So inspiring. So just to kind of follow up the introduction Jeff gave you, obviously he said a little bit about you, but when someone actually comes up and says, hey, what do you do? What's your typical response?
That is so funny because I get that a lot, actually, especially with traveling, and people are like, hey, what do you do? Are you like, somebody famous that I should be following? And of course I'm like, yeah, you should be following me. Like, you're not following me on Twitter.
Really?
and yeah, exactly. Right. And so when they start following me and they're like, okay, but what do you do? And I say, I'm a teacher. That's what I do. I'm a teacher. I'm an EduGladiator. I fight for our kids and I fight for our profession. And I want to continue to inspire those that have been in the arena, is like what I like to call it, that have been in the arena for any measure of time, and those that are just thinking about entering the arena. But I am a teacher, and that is who I am, who I've always been. And no matter what leadership title I might have or have had, I'm still a teacher first.
I love that. I want to touch on, you've had pretty cool career that spans across a lot of things. You've done a lot of different things in different schools and stuff. Yeah. And the warrior and the gladiator are sticking out to me. Warriors and gladiators, they don't give up. They fight through challenges. They fight through mistakes, and they continue fighting through. And you said the word fight, and I love that because I know I can just hear the passion in there. But I want to flip. So, a lot of experience. So I got to assume you got some good stories for us with this. I always talk about failure. I love talking about failure. I know a lot of people do, so it's not like something new to talk about failure. But I love sharing things that I've done, that I've made mistakes, where I've tripped up and where I've failed miserably, because everything I am today is a result of that, right? And I've learned a lot from that. So can you take us with you? Can you share a time that you've had a failure? Sort of take us there, like what happened? How did it make you feel? How did you overcome it? And then what did you really take away from that?
Absolutely. So I love to fail, and everyone that I meet, I tell them I am not perfect. I do not know all of the answers, and that's part of the journey. I'm a firm believer that when we make mistakes, it illuminates our humanity, and it allows people to see us for who we are, which is perfectly imperfect. And I even wrote a blog post about letting plates fall, because I think that, and I'll give you a specific example, but I think when we fail, no matter where we are in life, it's important that that we pick up the pieces. And if we're a leader, it's important that we don't try to prevent those that we lead or those that we are responsible for from every failure. Because, like you said, Jeff, failures, they really give us the grit, the perseverance, of who we are. And so when we let plates fall, the beauty comes in picking up the pieces, and as a leader and helping others pick up the pieces. That's where, to me, the true learning occurs. So one experience that comes to mind right away actually was my first time as the building principal, not just an assistant principal, but the first time I had my own school, right? And we go in thinking we know exactly what needs to be done, and we probably have a good idea, but we also want to make sure we temper that with making sure people feel heard and feel valued. And so in the district I'm in, that I actually live in, I still live in here in Nashville, Tennessee. My first year as a principal, I did everything technically correct. But my assistant superintendent at the time, she's like, Marlena, you do a great job as a principal. I mean, you're rocking it out there, but you have people that are you're leading that don't know who you are. And so my mindset was that I had to be perfect. I still was hanging on to that. I had to be perfect. I didn't want to make a mistake. I didn't want to show my teachers that I could not do something. And so my assistant superintendent said, and I will forever be grateful for her for saying this. She said, you have to let people see you and know who you are, and let them know that you've made mistakes, and talk them through and walk them through what those mistakes are, because they're going to make mistakes. And even though you understand and you show it with your grace and your support and your coaching, they may not always believe you, And so immediately after that, the second year going into the school year as a principal at this particular school, I just changed everything. And when I say changed everything, I just stripped away the perfection, or the veil of perfection that I thought I had to keep. And people saw Marlena. They saw Marlena from Louisiana, where I'm originally from. They saw like Bayou Girl Marlena. Like, we even had a crawfish boil and Mardi Gras celebrations. Nice. For our staff and for our janitors and for our maintenance men. I mean, I really took that to heart. And so for me, part of my culture from being from Louisiana is, of course, you cook for people that you love, because that's how we show our love. But even through that process, that's how you gather people and you talk and you really get to know people, and letting them see that. And so it was just a fantastic, really return to my roots, where I allowed these people here in Nashville, Tennessee, at a brand new building that I did not know very well, see who I am, and they could immediately relate to me and laugh with me, laugh at me when I made mistakes. I never tried to hide those. And it just set the tone for my teachers trying things, being more innovative, because they knew that they really believed me when I said, I am not judging. Let's try, and let's try to be our best, and let's try new things for our kids. They believed me when I said that. And our culture just can just really meld it together, that we are not perfect, but we are exactly who we need to be for our kids. And we're going to keep pushing through.
It's funny that transparency, that wanting to be open with your staff is actually something that we continue to need to echo throughout all of education, right? When Jeff, I know we've talked about this with other educators on our podcast, that we not only need to be transparent and honest and human with our colleagues, with the people that we lead, but also with our students, and how many relationships you can build through that honesty is really powerful.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. And even as a teacher, I would tell my kids, like, and I taught language arts primarily, and I would tell them, hey, if you catch a mistake, better let me know. I'm gonna be mad if you don't let me know that I've made a mistake on the board or saying something. That's like walking around and you have like broccoli in your teeth, right? And let me know. I'll even give you an extra point. So they were like looking, but it again, it
Mm-hmm.
just set that tone that my teacher's human. She's a little crazy. She's quirky. She loves the rock, all of those fun things, but I can relate to her, and we're in it together. So when they were correcting me, if I made a mistake, and sometimes I made it intentionally to check, see if they're watching. I also had an opportunity to coach them, like, A, here's how you talk to an adult. B, here's how you show someone and redirect them with kindness and with grace.
And I think that's a huge point. I'm glad you said that, because that's a big piece of that too, of modeling that fact that you're a human, that you fail. Your fail is not only just, hey, it's preparing our students for when they fail, but also, like you just said, touching and working with them on how do you address when your colleague fails or one of your peers fail, and how do you direct them, like you said, with kindness. I love how you said that, rather than just tearing them down or mocking them or something like that. So that's awesome. And the next time you have one of those parties, we're coming down.
Oh,
Just so
Oh
you know
yeah.
when that's going on.
absolutely.
We're gonna come down and get some of that Louisiana cooking there. So now
Absolutely.
so now that was awesome. Let's flip. I just gotta say, I want to bring up, because I love how you said this. I love that you said that you used the letting the plates fall piece, and you said the beauty is in picking up the pieces. I just wanted to note that I love that. So I'm pretty sure I'm stealing that forever.
You can.
So but it'll be here recorded. Everybody knows it comes from you. Anyway, so let's flip it around now. Well, let's talk about a success that you've had, or a successful moment, or a time you felt really successful. It could be big, it could be small, like it doesn't matter what it is, but tell us what it is that happened, why it was a success for you, and then what did you take away from that?
Okay. So I think as a teacher, as an educator, we've had many moments where we realize, like, this is why I do what I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my experiences are probably very similar to many out there, but one particular experience really touched my heart, because sometimes when we think about success, and we all have our own measuring stick for success, but mine is, if my success can't be measured on the impact I have on students first, my colleagues second, then how impactful, how successful am I really? And so, from a student perspective, I taught in Atlanta, and I really had gang members in my class, and so I I didn't let that stop me. And again, many of the things that I mentioned earlier, I worked really hard on creating this culture of being authentic and of being respectful, and of kindness. And I had one of my students that he was 16 in the 8th grade, and I told him, I said, not only are you going to be successful in my class, but you're going to finish high school. You're going to actually be the first in your family to finish high school. ELL student, spoke pretty good English, but had a few learning disabilities, and he would come up with all these excuses, and I said, well, they're just excuses. We're gonna work through them. Okay, we're just gonna keep trucking through, because failure is not an option. That was a term I used, 20 years ago. Failure is just not an option. It's just not on the table. So we're gonna work through every obstacle, every challenge that you give me. And so at the end of the year, during our state tests, we have all of our practice tests and things that we do, as most places do. And his special education teacher pulled me aside. School was out, kids were gone. It was summer. We're having our summer days, cleaning up, and she pulled me aside and shared with me, on one of his practice tests, his written response. And it said, who was their hero, and he shared with them, or with the teacher on the practice test, that I was his hero because I made him believe that he could do anything. And that even though his English was not perfect, even though his grades were not perfect, that I did not let him believe that that would stop him from being successful. And that he was committed to going to high school and finishing and being the first to graduate high school in his family. So fast forward 4 years after that point, and I've already moved. My family has moved here to Tennessee. And of course, the teacher and I still keep in contact. And she sent me a picture. She went to graduation and she sent me a picture of him that she had taken with his cap and gown on graduation day. And that right there, I think probably really started the seeds of the whole premise behind EduGladiators. Because that's when I realized, not that I never knew it, but that's when I truly realized the impact of our words, and the great opportunity we have with kids to change their lives, to be that catalyst to go down a different path. And when I think about that, and I think about even my own children, I have a freshman at the Naval Academy and a senior still in high school. There was a Facebook question, like a random question with my friends about, could your kids answer these questions about you? And one of them was, ask your kid, what do they know about you, about your character, who you are? And I asked this to my two sons at dinner, and they both said, you fight for people that can't fight for themselves. You make them believe. You can't stand to see people mistreated or people thinking down are less of themselves. And that's who you are. And that's who we try to be. It is. It's everything. And so I hear that even, removed another 10 plus years and my own children are seeing this. And I'm like, okay, so, that's what I hope to be remembered by when I come in contact with people, whether it's kids, students, my own children, like that makes me successful. Not the title, not the traveling and all these things, materialistic things that I might do. That makes me successful, to show that I've impacted kids like my students, and even more importantly, my sons, to see like, this is how you live life well, is by helping others.
It's funny now, having taught for a number of years and getting to see my students graduate from high school is so amazing. That moment of when you're believing in a kid at a middle school age, and then it's always the fear of mine is to lose contact, right? To not be able to see them in the cap and gown, because you're wholeheartedly correct that is such a magical moment. And I remember my first year teaching, going to their graduation, later on, and being like, oh God, I just had to see them in that moment, because it's such an incredible time of their life. If I was to ask you then another question that kind of relates to this, is not only what excites you about being an educator, but what's exciting you right now in education as the education field continues to change, and with all the things going on? Obviously, those special teacher moments are so personal, but what other things are getting you excited about education?
Okay, so I probably speak about this more than anything else, and I love it because, okay, so here's a fun fact. I probably should have led with the fun facts about myself, because I've always led with these fun facts with my kids that I've taught, and with my faculty, or other educators that I've led. They haven't changed. But I give 3 fun facts. The first one, of course, I'm from Louisiana, so I love LSU football. But the second one, I'm 28 forever. I'm 28 forever. Okay. Like, my middle school kids even came up with the hashtag 28 forever. So you can certainly use that, Jeff and Ray, if you'd like.
I love it.
And the last one is, of course, I love The Rock, and that helps me be 28 forever until I get to meet him. But I say that to say what excites me about it, and I always lead off with that, is that even though I like being 28 forever, because who likes to age? More importantly, it's my reminder to stay relevant. So what excites me right now in education is I love the intentionality of really leveraging technology to transform the learning experience of our students. I absolutely love that. And I love being able to travel all over. Like I said, I just came back from Hawaii, traveling all over to share with teachers who are 28 forever like me in my generation, even in previous generations, help them see that you don't have to know everything about technology, just enough to be dangerous, but enough to help elevate and enrich and deepen the lessons that they're giving in their classrooms. And I love helping teachers, especially if they have been in it for a while. If they've been in the arena for 10 plus years. That's kind of like the magic number where they might be hesitant or fearful of using technology, helping them see that you're going to fail. It's okay. Let your kids help you. And you can totally, totally transform what school is for kids now.
Jeff, are you feeling 28 forever?
I'm 24 forever. But,
24.
That was a good year for
no,
you.
I love that. Well, one, I love that you're 28 forever so that you can meet the rock, but also that it reminds you to stay relevant. I think that's gold. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, we always hear about rigor, and we definitely need rigor, right? But I think more importantly, with this Gen Z, with this Generation Z, who is one of their hallmark characteristics is they have their digital natives. They've never known life without a smartphone, not just a phone, but a smartphone. Yeah. I think it's really important that that we really change how we do things to address that and stay relevant and make sure that our lessons, not only, we can't just say, oh, you're going to need this in college, you're going to need this in your career when you get out of college, because there are jobs that our kids will have that haven't even been created yet. So we have to teach them how to put all of these different pieces of information together and to be not just consumers of information, but creators and connectors of information.
You know, we just did a podcast recording with Thomas C. Murray. It was episode 4 of our podcast, and he had such a presence when he was talking about the same topic, really focused on the fact that technology is here and we can choose to use it with purpose or choose to simply use it. And there is such a difference when you have a teacher that takes hold of technology and really uses it to innovate and change their classroom to truly reach their students, versus just saying, yep, I used it and checking a box. And, even Jeff, Tiffany Ott talks about this all the time, of really making sure that technology is transforming something rather than just replacing something. And that excites me too. I'm so glad that you picked that as something that is continuing your drive in education, is just how exciting it is to see how technology is going to affect, future generations. It's really, really amazing. I have to say though, with all the new teachers coming in, right? These are new teachers, not even 28 yet, right? These are the babies that are coming in.
Not even the first time around.
I know. And, even if it's their first year in the classroom, or maybe it's their first or second year, new teachers are the ones that really need to grab hold of this transformative practice and be able to balance it with then all the other pieces of education. So what is one piece of advice you give to every new teacher to just keep trekking in education? What's the secret sauce that you've got?
Well, it's not really that much of a secret, because when I started in education, I was alt certified. My undergrad is in psychology with the concentration in adolescent psychology. But I actually told my parents, my mom was a middle school teacher, all of her siblings were teachers. I said, I would never do this. Like, y'all are nuts. I would never do this. And I didn't really love school. I was good at playing school, right? But I did not love school, but I did love learning. And my mom definitely, she definitely fed into that. But when I decided to go into teaching, I did not have the traditional training as most teachers did at that time. I was earning my training. I was earning my stripes as I went along. And so I remember asking my mom, because I was very, very nervous right before the kids were about to come into the school on the first day of school. And I remember having a moment of just anxiety. And I called her and I said, what in the world am I going to do when these kids walk into this room? And so my advice to new teachers is the same as my mother gave me almost 20 years ago. She said, you're going to love them and you're going to treat them like they're your own. And so when I think about new teachers, and I did not, and I have to keep in mind that not everyone is a mother or a father when they're jumping into teaching, because they're, just getting out of college, many of them, but you still have to love them as if they're your own. And if you love them, and if you go about your teaching that in mind, of building relationships, letting them know that you care, and do those things first, the content, the lesson plans, all those things will come into place. You're going to become better at lesson planning and classroom management and all of those different things. That's going to come. But what you can't redo are the first impressions and the opportunity to build relationships. So love them, treat them like they're your own, and they will know that you love them, and the rest will come.
It's so funny when my husband and I, we're not fortunate enough to have children yet, but whenever we're out in public, people always, they ask, oh, do you guys have children? And my husband always leans over and goes, well, she's got 150. We don't actually need our own, right? It's like, treat our kids like our own. It's true.
Yes. And that really is the best advice. And you can't be afraid to tell the kids. I don't care how old they are. You can't be afraid to tell them, like, you know what? I love you. My job is to be here for you. I would tell my kids, like, we're like the Rainbow Coalition. Like, we're all one big family, and we're going to be successful. And I'm not going to let you be less than that.
I love it. And you mentioned first impression, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to hear your first impression on the Teach Better Talk podcast. We're going to put you to the test.
Okay.
Next set of questions. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do 6 questions, but you got 15 seconds or less to answer each of
them. Okay.
Are you game for it, Warrior?
I am.
EduGladiator. We're going to put you to the test here. All right, here we go. What is one ed tech tool you cannot live without?
Flipgrid.
What book are you reading right now?
I'm reading 2 books because I'm a book nerd. I am reading, and I've already read it once, but I'm going back now and just like loving it. I'm reading The Pepper Effect by Sean Gallard, which I love.
Yeah.
And then Fully Charged by Julie Adams, PJ Capozzi, and my super, super sweet friend, Rosa Isaiah.
Awesome. Who do we need to follow on Twitter or on social media in general right now?
Well, you definitely have to follow all of the core warriors that help me with this EduGladiators movement. You have to follow Paul O'Neill, Rochelle Del Poth. You have to follow Colleen Skiles. Who am I missing? Dennis Griffin. You have to follow Brendan Fetters. And outside of our little group, you have to follow, there's a couple that I just love. You have to follow Superintendent Wade Stanford out of Texas. Love him. Casey Bell with Shake Up Learning. She's absolutely wonderful. And then Lou Haynes, who's not a teacher at all. He is a sergeant in the Chicago area, and he is completely rethinking how the police force address organizational structure and stress. And I just love it. So he's actually hosted a chat and bringing in new language to the education world and new concepts from his world that have totally helped not only our kids be safe, but our teachers be better communicators.
Awesome. What is the best YouTube channel or blog website for educators?
Oh my gosh, that's such a loaded question. Of course, EduGladiators has a YouTube channel, and we do a lot of our guests on there, so that's always awesome. All of the core warriors have blogs that are just fantastic. Let's see. Brendan Fetters, again, is a great blogger. I love his work. I also love Elizabeth Bostwick. She's out of Jersey area. Love her. Her blogs are always super packed. And probably one of my favorites, good friend of mine, Aaron Hogan, out of Texas. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful blogger. He wrote Teacher Myth.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, we're fans of Aaron's.
We are.
So what is one daily, weekly, or monthly routine that every teacher should get into?
I think absolutely you have to make time for yourself, and whatever that looks like, because we might be in different paths of life, but you have to make yourself a priority. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So whatever gets you going and gets you in your woo-saw moment, as I like to say, whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly, put that on the calendar and just hold on to it with both hands and just be very inflexible about making time for yourself.
What is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Best piece of advice I've ever received, again, from my mother, she's such a smart woman, is never say I can't. Only that you can't yet. We could not say I can't ever in my house, or you would get punished. Never say I can't.
That growth mindset right there. I love that.
Love it.
Yep.
I think I have the most important question, because after hearing all of your insight, all your fabulous stories, I do want to make sure that all of our listeners can continue this conversation, can keep the spark going, the inspiration going. So how can people connect with you?
Awesome. So I try to be available on lots of different platforms, and I love learning about new platforms too, because I'm 28 forever, right? So, of course, I think educators have completely taken over Twitter, which I love to see. You can follow me at Gross-Taylor, or you can follow EduGladiators. Instagram, the same handles for that. I would love to have you visit me on my website, marlenataylor.com. Super simple to get to. You can also check out our EduGladiators Core Warriors on edugladiators.com. Absolutely, we have Facebook pages, especially for the folks that are 28 like me, again and again and again. So you can type in Marlena Gross-Taylor, visit my page there, or EduGladiators. And we are super excited to have recently opened up our own community, a Facebook community for EduGladiators called, of course, The Arena. So you can connect to that from our EduGladiators Facebook page. Yes, we are on YouTube under EduGladiators. And probably the last thing that I'm so pumped about is that we have now entered the publishing realm for EduGladiators. And so we have a couple of books that will be out this winter before the end of 2018. And so you definitely want to follow us on EduGladiators, so you can be the first to grab your copy. And they're amazing books by some people that I think that you probably know. And so I can't wait to when that moment comes and we can announce that they are releasing their book, and you can get it now on Amazon.
Awesome. Great stuff. And you guys know that you can find all of the links, all the resources, all the people that Marlena has talked about, all the different things that she's thrown out at us this episode. You can find them all over at teachbetter.com. We'll have them all in the show notes, as well as the really important links like how to connect with Marlena and all the EduGladiators over there. So make sure you head over to teachbetter.com for those. Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. And if you can give us a rating and a review, we'd really appreciate that as well. Marlena, truly, truly, truly appreciate all your time, all your stories, everything you share with us today. Really appreciate you coming on. Truly.
Oh, thank you so much, Steph and Ray. This has been so much fun. Thank you.
It's been awesome. And guys, until next time, let's get out there and let's teach better.